TOEFL speaking templates. If you're anything like me and you're new to the TOEFL or you know quite a bit about the TOEFL, you've probably heard of TOEFL speaking templates. But you might be thinking, what are these things? Or maybe you know what these things are, but you don't know how to use them. Or maybe you know how to use them, but you don't know if you're using them right. Or maybe you know that you're using them right, but you're not sure if it's a good idea or not to use these templates. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about what TOEFL speaking templates are, how to use them well, and to know if they're a good fit for you. So, my name is Josh McPherson. I am the head instructor of TST Prep, an online TOEFL school where our mission is simple, to help you get the TOEFL score you need as quickly and easily as possible. And today, we're going to go deeper into TOEFL speaking templates, and by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to use them in the TOEFL speaking. So, first of all, what are TOEFL speaking templates? Well, a template is a basic structure for others to copy. That's what a template is. A TOEFL speaking template provides basic organization for your response. And here's an example from TOEFL speaking question number 1. On the left-hand column is the template. So for this question, to me, I definitely think that. I remember when, on top of that, for example, and to sum up, these are phrases that you can use in your question 1 response that you can use for almost any question 1. Now, in this video, I'm not going to talk about the specific question types. I'm not going to talk about the structure or the specific templates for each of them. In the link in the description below, there is a link to a PDF file, TOEFL Speaking Templates and Strategies for 26+, and those include templates. So if you want to know more about specific templates, then you can download that PDF. But for this video here, what I want to talk more about is the pros and cons of TOEFL speaking templates. What are the good points and bad points of them, and actually how to use them when you speak. So we've talked about the what, and you have that download for you to look at actual templates. And go ahead and download that now so you can take a look while this video is going on. But now I want to get into the pros and cons, the good and bad points of the TOEFL speaking templates and using these types of responses. So one good thing about a template is that you can start the same way every time. Starting is one of the hardest parts of the TOEFL speaking section because you have to speak on command. They say you have to speak for 45 seconds. You can begin speaking now. You have to begin for 60 seconds. You can begin speaking now. And that's really scary, and it's hard to kind of start. If you need to know more about the structure of the TOEFL speaking questions and how much time, I recommend the videos we have, TOEFL speaking questions explained. We explain each of them, and I'll put a link in the description below as well. Okay, so that's one good thing, is that you know how to start every time. Here's some example phrases that we give to students, and that's in that PDF that you can download in the link below. For example, number 1, there's a lot of different ways you can begin. I think, or I believe, I feel, personally speaking, to be honest, and so on. So for each question type, we give you some ideas of how to start. Choose one, and you could start the same way every time. The questions are really structured, so it's easy to start the same way every time. But one problem with this is that you might develop a robot voice with templates. This is the biggest problem with templates, really, is that you start sounding like a robot. To give you an example, this is from a question number 2. The reading passage announces a change on campus, so that's pretty natural. But if you're saying something that you remember and that you don't feel, you might say something like this. The reading passage announces a change on campus in particular. So you're kind of going fast because you know what you need to say, and you're kind of nervous because you're doing a TOEFL. So you just kind of speak fast and you don't feel what you're saying. Another example, and the man in the conversation thinks it's a great idea. And the man in the conversation thinks it's a great idea. For one thing, he thinks that. So I tried to even give it a little bit of intonation, but a lot of people just run through these sentences and they just go really fast because, again, you have it memorized, you're nervous, and you just sound like you don't feel what you're saying. Very important to feel what you're saying. Second pro of a template is that it improves your delivery. The way that you speak becomes better because you have a structure. So it's easier for you to say something with confidence because you can practice it a lot. You can practice this beginning. To me, I definitely do not think that coworkers make good friends. You could practice that a lot. To me, I definitely think. To me, I definitely think. And that actually improves the way that you're speaking because again, you want to sound natural, right? By remembering these templated responses and practicing them, you can make them feel more natural when you speak and you can say it more automatically, with more automaticity, it's called. But another con of a template is that you might get a question that it doesn't fit. So, for example, if I say, to me, I definitely think that, would you prefer to work at one job your entire life or to switch jobs? Okay, that might be okay. I can make it fit. But as you keep looking at these questions, you might get a question on test day where it doesn't fit exactly. So, for example, sometimes in the TOEFL speaking, they give you an advantage-disadvantage question. What are the advantages and disadvantages of something? It might be a little hard to say a template with that type of question. Those questions are rare, but sometimes they do come up. So you want to have a template to help you feel confident and comfortable when you're speaking, but also you have to remember that you want to sound natural and things could happen on test day, so you don't want to rely too much on the template because then you're not trying to speak naturally. Okay, so that's another con. Another pro for templates is that it structures your thoughts. So it's easier for you to answer questions because you know, okay, I got to say this first and I got to say this second. I have to give my opinion and a reason and an example. It's easier for you to know what you have to do. When you don't have a template, everything's just kind of random and you just kind of answer the question how you feel. But a con, again, is that your response could feel too structured. You might think, okay, for example, question 1, I have to give 2 reasons and 2 examples. So you might start hurrying and go really fast. And you don't sound natural when you speak. So you want to have that structure, but then you also want to feel like it's natural at the same time. So you want structure to help you respond, but you don't want too much structure to sound unnatural. Another pro of so this is an example here of when it might be too structured, because if you say the first reason is, the second reason is, and then this conclusion, as you can see, the man in the conversation thinks this is a fantastic idea. You might say that really fast because you want to say everything in the time. You want to say all of your template, but then again, you're not speaking naturally. And that's what you really want. You want to go back to that main principle. Do I sound natural? You want to say this last sentence as something like, as you can see, the man in the conversation thinks this is a fantastic idea. It should sound comfortable and natural when you speak. Okay, another pro of templates is that they're easy to remember. Maybe not, maybe they're hard to remember, but it's easier than trying to respond differently for each question. One thing I recommend to students when they have trouble remembering templates is to make a flashcard of the template for each question. One flashcard app I use pretty often is Quizlet. There's a lot of different ones you can use, but you can use these to remember some of your TOEFL speaking templates. You can remember other aspects of the TOEFL as well. So that's a great way to kind of try to remember these templates, is to use flashcards. But a con, again, is that it limits creative thinking. You want to sound comfortable and natural when you speak, and if you're trying to think of a template, you're trying to fit your template into the question, you're not thinking as creatively. Instead, you're thinking more in terms of the template. So you want to use the template to help you sound natural and conversational. If the template is not helping you sound natural and conversational, then you want to try to change it, or you want to try to maybe not even use it. It's really up to you. It should reduce your stress and anxiety. It shouldn't make you more stressed, okay? And it shouldn't make you less natural. It should make you sound and feel more natural when you speak. Okay, the next one, it organizes your response. So kind of like structures your thoughts is that you get a organized response, pretty simple and straightforward. You know what to say first, you know what to say second, you know what to say last. It's pretty helpful instead of just going into a question cold and just trying to answer the question. So it definitely organizes your thoughts and organizes your response. But again, a con of that is that it could feel uncomfortable. And I'm going to go back to this first principle one more time. Remember that you want to sound comfortable and natural when you speak. So this is how you decide if you should use a template, if you should say certain things or not. Do I sound comfortable and natural when I speak? If you don't, then you shouldn't be using a template. Or if you do, let me say this, that at first you won't feel comfortable and natural when you use a template. You should try to feel more comfortable over time. If it still doesn't feel right to you, then try to find something that works for you. One principle we have at TST Prep that we talk about a lot with our students is that each student is an individual. You are an individual. There are different things that you can do that fit your personality better. And so you want to make sure that you do those things, that you do things that fit your needs. There's not one way that you have to follow all the time. This is just advice based on hundreds of students we've worked with before. It's up to you what works best for you. Thank you guys for watching, and let me know, what do you think? Do you think TOEFL templates are a good fit for you? Leave a comment in the description below. Thank you again, guys, and I will see you in the next video. Good luck.